First, I'd like to express my deep felt thanks to the organizing committee to provide me this opportunity to share with you some of my research findings. In the interest of time, I will be brief because you must be hungry. Professor Jiang has made a very comprehensive speech, and what I will talk about is rather like a focus on one detail or one side of the story. In the south coastal land Zhejiang, there is a major relics, and we've done some wood identification on some of the wood columns from this site, which was done in the Rihuan County, county located in the southeast of Zhejiang province. Please look at the position. And this county, 3 sides of the county faces the sea, and another part is the extension of Yandangshan Mountain. And the time of the relic of the site can be traced back, was first excavated in 2001, and it is a very typical fence-like wood structure, which is a typical example of historical progress in southern part of China to cater to the very humid environment. And during that, the time can be traced back to the Chunqiu period or the warring period, and it is 2,400 to 2,800 years old. This is the site of excavation. This is the part where the mountain extends to the sea, and this is the site picture. Many columns on site, more than 100. 15 to 18 centimeters.
Yes, as high as 1 meter. It is distributed scattered in the region. It's from 1.3 meters to 3.8 meters. The front 50 centimeters, they are from the Song Dynasty, from 80 centimeters to 1.3 meters. They are from the spring and the autumn and the warning states area. This is the condition of the pillar. When we look inside the pillar, 80 of the pillars are arranged regularly. For the rest, they are just scattered around. The 80 pillars columns have formed the 3 construction units. We name it number 1, number 2, and number 3. Let's look at the distribution of the pillars. This is the photos of the field. We can see this is distribution, picture diagrams. This unit is the number 2, corresponds to this unit. This is number 3. We can judge from the photo that the arrangement is very regular, especially the unit number 1. And we can see it's actually it should definitely be a room. All these pillars were from one big hole. We have taken 93 samples. The sample results show that you can see from the table the major species are 3 species. Most of them are 3B species, accounting for about 31.18%. The second is the Chirospondian Iglia, accounting for about 27.96%. The third is the Cinnamonium Carfora, accounting for 24.74%. It is a little bit difficult to detect or identify these three. And the last species, the three species altogether accounted for 83.87% of the total species. If we take into consideration the not too easy to decide species, the overall three species will account for about 90%, and there are also other species you can see from the slides. Due to time limit, I will just show you some photos, and I will not talk about the features. Due to time limit, I'm not going to details. You can see subtidal fiber here, and a lot of other small schematic for population. Okay, the second is the Chersophodia alixpirus. It is very commonly seen in southern China. In the southern part of Asia, we still have big trees with 70 to 80 centimeters in diagram. You can just judge from the features of the photo to identify the woods. The third is the Cinnamonium capfrus. And this species is different from other species. The one distinction is it has abundant actual procurement. The other feature is that, according to my opinion, it all contains some very distinctive measures, like these small knots and the different lines. The interval of the lines are big. The fourth part is the Cinnamonium species. But it does not contain the outlines. For other features, they are same with the previous species, but they are not completely same. The fifth type are the Castanopsis. There are two forms, but they belong to two different kinds of Castanopsis. I think the identification is okay. The features are very clear. There are a lot of cells. And the radiation lines are very clear. Some of them have the square cells. This is another type. They have very wide radiation lines, and this wider club is a very distinctive feature to judge the species of the wood. This is the sixth species. Is Nanjing Chinensis. They have the clippus type 1 and 2. And the features of the tumor between the radiation lines. And the next species, the Coirithera species. This is a species in China's southern part and southern Asia. It is a supported Nasia species, and the other one is the hardwood podocarpus species. And there are 4 types. They also grew in the southern part and the tropical, subtropical parts of China in the southern area. And the cells is very smooth without any indentures. So the conclusion of our identification is that first, in the site we have found out 8 species and a lot of wood species. In the first 3 we talked about accounted for about 80%. But all these wood and the timbers are very typical southern and subtropical climate species. So we can see the building to build these structures, they just pick the surrounding wood and the timbers. Second, they have a high screening system for building the buildings. For example, we can see the first 3 species accounted for 83.87%. So they have a very high screening system for selecting species. That means 2,500 years ago, people have a very clear understanding about the features and the conditions of the trees and the woods. We all know that the first 3 species, they are very quality and they are very good. Even judging by today's standards, they are very good for construction. So we can see that people at that time knew the features and the characteristics of this kind of species. Third, there are a lot of very expensive species used. All these and there are a lot of this expensive wood used, showing the people's affection and favor in these expensive species. Currently, people have a very high understanding about this kind of expensive and precious wood. So in Han Dynasty, especially the Xihan Dynasty, Xihan period, a lot of the important expensive species were widely used. For example, in the Guangling Wang Grim, several hundred cubic meters of the expensive wood were used. Fourth, there are differences in the 3 units we talked about. In the first unit, 44% of the expensive wood were used. 10 out of the 12 pillars were used. And in the unit number 2, the first 3 species were all used, accounting for 32.3, 22.6, and 22.6% respectively in the unit 3. The same case applies. You can see from in the unit first, in unit 1, the 4EB were widely used in the first unit. In these two units, the use of 4EBs are not as widely used as the first unit. They are different. I think maybe they were built in different time. So this is my very simple introduction in terms of species identification. Thank you very much.
You showed us very interesting data, southern part of China. And we saw the most abundant species or post was Febe, right? And according to my pure information in China, Febe the most important, most durable species, right? And however, in Zhang Xiaomei's data, we didn't see not so much Febe for the post. Do you have any idea?
Yeah, Febe is located in south of China, and according to the excavated samples, and the earliest in north of China, maybe in Han Dynasty, like in Yangzhou, and that area is not the natural distribution area. But in my research site, that area is the natural distribution area. So according to our recorder, maybe about 2,200 years ago, the Febe transferred or transitioned from south of China to north of China. Yeah. 谢谢。